In today's video, I am going to talk about how to cover up the dreaded blemish. Hey everyone, this is Lisa. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Lisa Monique, where we cover all things lifestyle and beauty for the over 50 woman. So, I developed this huge blemish right before Thanksgiving. I could feel it coming underneath. And of course, at 57, my blemishes are more hormonal versus oily skin or anything like that. So obviously, if you have acne or other skin conditions that are causing your blemishes, what I'm saying might be incorrect for you. However, how to cover them will work for any type of blemishes. But I just want to go back. So I have this hormonal blemish. You can tell when it's going to come. You can tell it's going to end up being this big cyst, and you're going to have this bump under on your face for like 2 months. And then it developed a head. And so I was trying to let it just dissolve on its own. And after a couple of days, and you can tell it's shrinking, but it's getting hard, that it's going to become a cyst type thing. And I'm sure all the estheticians are cringing. But of course, what I do is I decided that I needed to pop that head. I could not stand having a big white head underneath my nose. And even when you cover it, I don't know, there's something about white heads that still show up through makeup. And so I take a sterilized fine, like a super fine straight pin that we use for quilting, and popped it, on the side, drained it. Next day, it's kind of full again because I did not drain everything. And also, it was just so huge. I mean, it felt like it was like almost the width of my nose. And yeah, so today it was flatter, but it was still big and white. So I did drain it again this morning. What happens when you do all this draining, popping, draining? Yes, you're going to scar your skin. But you know what? I've got to cover up all this stuff. One more little bump under my nose, isn't going to faze me. But also that area gets kind of scabby and flaky and things like that. So there are different things that I have to deal with trying to cover this. And I am meeting a new friend for lunch, and I just wanted to get it covered up. So since I didn't put moisturizer on, I am going to just use something different over my Embryolisse. I'm going to use my Charlotte Tilbury Magic Cream, oldie but goodie, on top of my sunscreen because I need that extra moisture. And I am, because this is not caused by oily skin, I am putting it over my blemish because, all those flaky areas and flaky layers, will pop up through. Okay, now here's how I cover my blemishes. And I just basically use concealer, but there are certain concealers, maybe I should title this the best concealers to cover blemishes. And they are more of the matte and drying concealers. These are not necessarily the concealers that I use under my eyes because I feel like they're a little more drying, or again, matte and flat, but I do like to use them to cover blemishes, and it's going to go under my foundation. So I'll talk about 3 drugstore that I like. Of course, the e.l.f. Camo Concealer, Holy Grail. This one is not as drying. I do use this one under my eyes. This particular shade is not, it looks like it would be really good right now. It was not good a couple weeks ago. It looks like it would be a good match now, but that's not the one I'm going to use today. The other one I like is the, and you know what? I think I need to buy a new one because that one is old and I could smell a different smell when I opened it. Yeah, so e.l.f. goodbye. L'Oreal, this one also is well used. I think they have a red lid now. I do have a red lid one, but it's too dark. This is also, this one doesn't smell bad, but this is also a super long lasting concealer. I mean, I think out of my drugstores for covering blemishes, maybe I might even use this one today. The L'Oreal is my concealer of choice. This is also a super long lasting, the Maybelline Superstay concealer. It's got a really tiny tiny, tiny, it's almost like a barely any foam, doe foot is the word I was thinking, but it's almost like barely any foam on the plastic. I'm not as big of a fan as this of the Super Stay. I do feel if you had to put it over a larger area, it is definitely the driest looking. And again, I'm trying to get a more hydrated look. Typically, I reach for my higher end concealers. Those are the ones that I like to use on my face. They work really well underneath my foundations. The Jouer concealer is one of my absolute favorites. It is a full coverage concealer. And I use it under my eyes too. Sometimes I have to tap it out or put a little bit of moisturizer on top of it. But it really looks beautiful, long lasting, super high pigmented. It's got a lot of shades, but on the Jouer website, I haven't looked at it lately. In the Jouer website, they're always sold out. And so I actually had to go to Amazon to get my shade. The two that are in Sephora all the time, in fact, I just took my daughter at Thanksgiving to purchase a concealer to cover blemishes on her face. She doesn't wear foundation. She only does, wants to cover a blemish or two. And so these are the ones that I had her check out. And the first is the Hourglass Airbrush. Is it Airbrush Vanish? It's the Vanish concealer. Yeah, their Vanish concealer. My shade is Beach. I think, oh no, we ended up getting her the next one. This one's really good. This is the one I have been using over Thanksgiving. This is one I've been using this week personally. It's one shade light for me, but since it's going under foundation, it didn't really matter. Though I'd rather typically go one shade dark over one shade light when concealer's going over a foundation or going under a foundation. And then this is the one I bought for my daughter. This is not my shade right now, as you can tell. This is the Pat McGrath Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Concealer Corrector. This one is full coverage. It's not as drying as all the rest. That's why I really like it. But it is full coverage and it lasts all day. So my shade here is LM14. I think I have an LM11 also. Pat McGrath, another favorite. But I think I'm going to go with the L'Oreal today. So you can see lots of redness. I have a feeling that little whitehead might pop up again. What I do, well, simple, dot it on. Take my little concealer brush, Refer number 32. Refer brush is still 50% off. And I tap. And then I take the edge and I just tap around the edges. Look at that. This is the L'Oreal Infallible. Really, really good coverage. Then I'm going to kind of do a little layering thing. So I'm going to take a sponge and push it in, which may take a little bit off. Ooh, something black on that sponge. Oh, probably from my black towel. Still excellent coverage. Okay, that's the end of the video. I don't need to put on any makeup. This is like covering really good. I'm done. No, I am going to do the rest of my face if you want to stay. But this is a really good shade for me right now. Usually the concealer that I grab, since my face gets darker and lighter if I go out and garden for the day, is the one that matches my skin tone the best right then and there. But yeah, this is doing really good. I feel like the Pat McGrath covers like this too. Okay, so next what I'm going to do, if I want it to be really long lasting, I am going to spray just a tiny bit of setting spray. And you can use any setting spray. I usually use the little trial size drugstore setting sprays, but this was my more expensive one. And I'm just going to tap it on. Okay, that kind of lifted it a little bit. But I'm going to let it dry. And then I'm going to do my second layer. Tap it in. Now I like the 32 because it's smaller. I mean, well, I also like a small concealer brush to go kind of right up in this area because that's where I'm trying to conceal and just in my troughs. And if I needed more coverage, I would use, you know, maybe a bigger concealer brush. But this one works so good because it's firm, it's dense, but it's small, really small. I'm going to take just a little bit of extra concealer. And I have a little bit of redness over around here. Actually, I usually conceal my whole nose because you can see how dark my whole nose is. So I am going to conceal that. All right. Oops, that was the wet side. Tap it in my nose. I really feel like a lot of times when you have like a really cakey look, it's because you have too much product on. So you do want to kind of pat off the excess. I like these Stands Out Beauty Sponges. They're 20 bucks on Amazon. Again, everything. Do have links to everything down below. But I do like the Stands Out because you use it dry. So unlike when I spritzed it and it actually took off a little bit of that concealer, you're just pushing it in dry. So you're not taking off makeup. Okay, final step for after you get your foundation over your concealer, you want to powder it. And I'm using the Goss Weightless powder, just on a little puff. All right, now for foundation, again, I'm going for a little bit more dewy look, so I'm going back to my cream foundations, and I am going to use my Goss because I bought one for my daughter, and she called me or texted me yesterday, and she's like, I forgot how much I love this foundation. So I was like, I haven't used it in a while either, so I think I'll use it too. I'm just going to use my, this is a rougher brush too, but this is just kind of a kabuki brush. The thing about Goss cream makeup, they're only like 12 shades because for the makeup artist, they actually mix their shades. Oops, sorry, that wasn't too loud. They actually mix their shades here, so they don't need 40 shades because they just can take their 12 and make whatever shade they need. I have shade 4 and 6. Do I have 5 too? Okay, 4 is the darkest. That's gonna be way too dark for me right now. Here's 5. This is more of a neutral undertone. This is gonna be a good shade for me. It's probably the one I'm going to use. And then 6 is a little lighter. And I'm just guessing that they're still available on his website, actually. I haven't even looked. But so, actually, I'm just going to go here. Still think that will be a pretty good shade. So I'm just going to go in. And I'm just tapping it over my blemish. And then I'm buffing it in everywhere else. And then pushing it in. Okay, I can definitely see right here that it's dry. So dry. Okay. People that always say their skin's so dry, and I was like, well, my skin's more normal. Now I'm kind of getting that feeling. Every time I put on a foundation, and it's all of them that I've lately been putting on, maybe I really do need to go back to something super glowy. Maybe that Miracle Balm would have worked. I can't believe if I've thrown it out. That would really make me mad. Anyway, this is no foundation. This is just it's just a very, very light coat. Kind of blends everything in. Whenever I watch back a video, I always see like some area that's so noticeable on the camera that like I'll miss putting foundation on. And yeah, it just my eyes stick to it. But you don't really notice it when you're doing it under the light. But I've also noticed it on other people. Like sometimes they won't put their foundation like right here and they'll blend it all around in their video, and all I can see is notices that they're missing foundation right here. So I'm not the only person that does it. But now that I've mentioned it to you, you're not going to be able to unsee it if you see it on my videos or another video. So I hope I'm getting a nice even coverage. Pushing it in. All right, this really is pretty. It's on Beautylish, or it was on Beautylish. That's where you can buy the Wayne Goss cosmetics. If you're not familiar with Wayne Goss, he, as a professional makeup artist, he's one of the first YouTubers. I think he's got like 12 million subscribers. All of his makeup is geared towards doing makeup on mature women with mature skin. So definitely check him out. He's just delightful on his channel. Okay, blush. I'm going to go with the Laura Mercier Tinted Moisturizer Blush. Tinted Moisturizer Blush. Continuing in with this dewy look. Since I found my little tray, I'm going to actually, instead of the back of my hand, I'm just going to put a little bit on my tray. Use a little rougher number 37. Get it all over. Oh, this is very pigmented. I'll start tapping it out or tapping it on. Rub off the excess. Okay, it dries a little fast. I should have done one side at a time. And I like to put a little bit on my brow. Okay. That's it. Oh, and my shade is Quasset. All right, I've got a Glossier lip gloss in Vila. Just a neutral shade. Little pink undertones. Probably not the best with the Quasset. Maybe I'll top it with a little Bobbi Brown. This one's in Cezanne Nude. And tone down that pink. All right. Now for the eyes. Curl my lashes with my Rephr eyelash curler. I'm going to use Charlotte Tilbury. They have sold out. I tried to rebuy my Nudes Duo liner and they sold out. I think I'm going to go into the corner today. All right, for my eyes, I'm going to go real simple, just with Makeup by Mario. I love this palette. I've loved it for years, since it first came out. It's making a comeback. It's their master mattes. Like, everyone was using it, and then no one was using it. Now it's making a comeback. I'm just going to put this nude shade over my eyes. It actually matches my eyes perfect. It's almost just like powdering it down. And then I'm going to take a combo between these two right here, mid-tone shades, and just put it on the outer third. And I am using a, what is it, a trial? Is that what they do when they send you samples before they finalize a brush? Yeah, this was a trial of the number 33 Rephr brush, which is sold out. They sold it out so quick. They were like, they weren't expecting it to sell out so quick. I was like, oh, I mentioned it was my favorite brush. It will be back. It will be the number 33 Rephr brush. And maybe you can pick it up at the next sale. All right, final is mascara. voluminous eye primer from L'Oreal. I really need to go to the drugstore because this is almost out too. I encourage you to try it if you think your lashes need a little oomph. Then my Beyond Mascara, City Beauty Beyond Mascara. I was trying a bunch of different mascaras, the RMS mascara, the Jones Road mascara, and here's what I've discovered. Like the Jones Road mascara I liked for about 2 weeks, and then it got really thick and clumpy. Like on the Beyond mascara, I can use it until the end of the tube and still like the consistency. Oh, final step. Oh, I should have done this before. Okay, I'm going to punch this in. I'm going to take this clip out and put it earlier for people that don't want to watch me do the rest of my makeup. And then you could use more setting spray again if you wanted. But if you're just trying to cover it and you're not really wearing a lot of other makeup, you can just stop there. Okay, so I'm just going to powder. I powdered my Blemish. Now I'm just going to take my puff without adding really more powder and just going over my nose and right this inner eye area. I'm not going to do it right here, you know, where I've got my crinkles are like right here. They're not necessarily right in the inner eye. So I do want that inner eye smooth and matte. But I'm trying to get everything else juicy looking, so juicy but not too glowy, you know. I'm just trying to look well hydrated. That's it. This is my look for lunch today. I appreciate you all being here as always, and we will see you next time.